Hi, I'm Justin Precourt, a Chief Nursing Officer at UMass Memorial Medical Center. So I've been here now for about 2.5 years. I started back in April of 2019, 6 or 8 months before the pandemic. So the DAISY Award was started by Mark and Bonnie Barnes in memory of their son Patrick. DAISY stands for diseases affecting the immune system, and Patrick had an autoimmune disease and ended up taking his life. But in his last days of life, he really developed some personal connections and relationships with the nurses who took care of him. Mark and Bonnie started this foundation and the DAISY Award to really recognize nurses for excellent care, for their ability to really heal with their touch, and for the connections that they make with their patients. It's now really known worldwide. It's celebrated in more countries than we could count, and really has become a symbol for nursing excellence everywhere. I'm really proud that we have the DAISY Award here at UMass. It's really a great opportunity to highlight the compassionate care that our staff give on a day-to-day basis.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome today, both live and virtually. My name is Jamie Sisnick-Stone. This is Timely Kennedy, my partner in crime here. We are the co-chairs of the DAISY Committee here at UMass Memorial, and we want to thank you all for coming for another DAISY Award celebration. Despite our ongoing efforts with the COVID-19 pandemic, we continue to celebrate our extraordinary nurses, and this year, our nurse leaders and teams as well. We're still not able to have this large gathering as we'd like in person, but we're excited to have another smaller virtual event to be able to recognize and highlight our DAISY Award programs. So today we're excited to recognize our DAISY team and nurse leader nominees. We're going to share some of their stories, show some videos, and announce the recipients of this year's awards. We hope that you are as excited as we are, so if you're virtual, put some comments and like the page. It's our great pleasure to start today's celebration with our Medical Center President, Dr. Michael Gustafson.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Today is truly one of my favorite days of the year because we really get to honor the backbone of our organization, which is our nursing care staff. To start, we have to admit that it's been a long and challenging 20 months. Hard to believe that it's 20 months already of the pandemic. And I know that all of you have been working so hard for so long, and I want to say how deeply appreciative we are of your efforts. My message for you today is this: your hard work is truly making a difference in the lives of the people in Central Massachusetts, and it's truly not going unrecognized. I think these notes embody the essence of the DAISY Award ceremony. So from our maternity center, I received this letter, a patient from our maternity center. In July, I gave birth to my little girl in Worcester. I need everyone at UMass to know what an amazing and unbelievably supportive nursing staff that I had during my transition to motherhood. I know the staff there has delivered hundreds of babies, but that day I felt like I was the most important person to show up at the hospital to give birth. I need to also mention that Danny Willett is the sweetest, kindest, and most loving nurse that I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. During the hardest and most emotional day of my life, she was by my side all the way, and there was no way that I could have done this without her. She showed me that I had the strength that I didn't know that I even had. Thank you to her and all of the labor and delivery staff that I was blessed with on my first day of being a new mom. And from a patient in our emergency department, and I got this within the last few weeks, a patient wrote the following: "My real hero was Nurse Tony. I expected a few hours of IV antibiotics, but it fell to Nurse Tony to explain that I'd probably be admitted for 2 to 3 days. Plus, due to the bed shortage, my first night would have to be spent in the ED. If you've never had the experience of sleeping or trying to sleep on one of those ED cots, please give it a try. But my hero, Tony, made arrangements for a hospital bed, and I will be eternally grateful. Tony was so attentive and supportive. He had a sense of humor, but at the same time was skilled and professional. Folks have always had a difficult time accessing my veins, but Tony prepared carefully, listened to me, and zip, it went right in. As a nurse myself, I've always felt that the backbone of any good hospital is the nursing staff. Rest assured that UMass Memorial is in good hands with your nursing team. What a great letter. And then finally, I wanted to share a letter from a COVID patient. And obviously, we've had hundreds of patients over the last year. So the patient wrote, I had COVID and was treated on one of your COVID units. I want to rave about the nursing staff because they were all not just competent, but beautiful people. You know, you can't pay people to care. You can pay them to do their job, but you can't pay them to care. But I definitely felt cared for. I was floored and came away feeling much better about humanity because of the people who are working at UMass. I have to admit I hated being there, but there were so many wonderful people, and they always said, if you need anything, don't hesitate to call. I was lucky, I didn't need a lot, but whatever I needed, they were always attentive, and I could not be more grateful. I have to say I've been humbled by the literally hundreds of letters that I've gotten from our patients and our families detailing the same story. It's been particularly challenging as our family members have been isolated from our patients during the pandemic. And I've been so impressed by how our nursing staff have been very creative, very persistent, very innovative in keeping families really connected to our patients. To me, it really embodies compassion and empathy. It's the type of impact like that each of you have the chance to do every single day. This morning, the monthly DAISY winners and the teams and the leaders that we will honor have demonstrated true nursing excellence, which is embodying clinical expertise, compassion, empathy, dedication, and patient family-centered care. Over the next year, we're going to be really focusing on highlighting and celebrating advancements to our patient care vision. And hopefully you'll see our dedication to enhancing your experience as a caregiver at the Med Center, enhancing our patient experience, both quality and safety in the patient experience, and also working on all of our flow and access issues for our patients. Today, I want to just end by thanking you for being the caregivers who celebrate life's miracles with our patients, give them the confidence to push through challenging diagnoses, and sometimes support them through true heartbreak. We appreciate each and every one of you for all that you do. With that, I'm thrilled to introduce live this time, Justin Precourt, our Chief Nursing Officer. It's hard to believe that Justin's only been here 2.5 years, but has been a true leader of nursing and patient care services. Justin.
Great. Thank you, Michael. I really couldn't be more honored, humbled, and excited to be here today. I wanted to start off just with a couple of thank yous. First to Jamie Stone, and I knew I was going to butcher her last name, but Jamie and Timely Kennedy and Karen Utara for all of their efforts to help make DAISY such a success at UMass. Each month, them and their team review hundreds of nominations. And in all of them, it talks about the humility, it talks about the relationships that are built, and it really talks about the impact as nurses we have on our patients and on our family and their families. These are lasting impacts. If you go back to last month's winner, Jessica Wilkinson in labor and delivery, the mom wrote about the way Jess helped her through her labor, the support Jess gave her with the birth of their daughter, and that forever on their daughter's birthday, and that forever ingrained in their family is Jess. That really is the essence of nursing. It's building those relationships, it's using that healing touch, and helping people through times that are really difficult and challenging. I think Don Berwick from IHI often says it, and says it well, that we're really visitors in the lives of our patients. And as nurses, we're invited into our patients' lives. In times when they're most vulnerable, and we help them build that trust, and with that, it helps them towards wellness. In today's celebration, we're going to hear about 3 teams and 2 leaders who really go above and beyond to make a difference in the lives of our patients. All of these individuals and these individual teams really are deserving of this award. It was a really difficult decision as the committee looked at the write-ups, but I can tell you that none are more deserving than the others. Some just eked out each other in the end. This year has taught us so much about resiliency. It's taught us so much about our overall professional practice, and really taught us so much about really the impact we have not just at work, but the impact we have at home. And there's never been more fitting time to have a celebration like this. If you think back to where we were, 18 months ago, when COVID was something that was in the news, it was a disease that was starting to impact other countries around the world, but really hadn't come into the United States. Then you fast forward into March of 2020, and really everything around us got shut down, except for everything we do every day. And we stepped in, turned up the gear, we stepped in, and we came up with ways to better care for our patients. We came up with ways to keep ourselves safe and to keep our patients safe. And we did that because that's what we do as nurses, right? We go in, we innovate, we improvise, and we come up with ways to make sure that at any point in time, people are getting what they need. And for that, I thank you. As we move forward in the event, I want you to think about the stories that are told. I want you to think about ways that you can celebrate your peers, your colleagues, for the extraordinary efforts that they make each and every day. And take the time to think about the work that you do. Take the time for self-reflection and take the time for self-care. There's never been a more important time to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and taking care of those around us. But we can't do that and can't do that well unless we make sure that we're in the right place and that we're grounded in the right mindset and ready to go. And know that anytime anyone ever needs help, that there's resources available to help them. Again, I want to thank the committee for putting on this show. I want to thank Brendan Monahan, the Chief Communications Officer, and the entire team at Rockstar Productions. This is awesome. For those of us that are in the room, it really is a great show. They had some great music playing at the beginning. I may have seen Michael dancing a little bit, but we'll keep that between he and I. So with that, I'd like to introduce Michelle O'Rourke, the Senior Director of Patient Care Services, who's going to talk through the Daisy Team Award. Michelle?
Thank you, Justin. So this year we had some extraordinary teams that were nominated, and selecting a winner was no easy task for the committee. Our top 3 teams are the Clinical Informatics team, the wound nurses, and the CCU at Memorial. Today we're going to hear a little bit more about the great work that these teams have done, and then we will reveal this year's recipient of the Daisy Team Award.
Applied Clinical Informatics is what I would say your back of the house workhorse, under Debbie Turner's lead. There is no other team within the Department of Nursing and within Patient Care Services who is more responsible for the safe care of our patients. Your electronic health record is actually one of the #1 keys that actually improves your patient outcomes, because it really serves as your checks and balances. Deb Turner's team and the Clinical Informatics team, they do an absolutely phenomenal job of being responsive to requests, being responsive to our needs, making sure that what we're putting in place is at the highest standard possible. They use evidence from other organizations, they test things out, and they have a really comprehensive rollout process so that our 2,500 nurses and 1,000+ patient care assistants and our physicians all know what they need to know in order to really document their care appropriately and have the safeguards in place to provide safe care.
Hi, I'm Deb Turner. I'm the Director for Applied Clinical Informatics at the Med Center. I've been at UMass for 32 years. I've held a variety of roles in different units, but it's been a great 32 years. I'm hoping we were nominated because I think the team is small but mighty. We are 4 of us. We work very closely with the bedside staff and nursing leadership to help improve patient outcomes, to work on quality issues, to work on education and documentation, and really a variety of roles. I've been a nurse for a very long time, probably 44 years. And to think how much the pharmacy role has changed over that time, it's just amazing. You know, when I first started, literally we had a recipe box of drugs, right? And now you have pharmacists as a vital member of the team, and I think it's just amazing and wonderful, and they're a great team to work with. Because every day I feel like I'm challenged to do things differently, to look at new things. Don't always have the answer right away. Sometimes the answer wasn't what we want it to be, but to work to find that answer, and that's what makes your job so challenging, and being challenging like that, it motivates you to come back the next day. And to work harder, right? Everything was changing. Like everyone else in this room, I'm sure you came to work every day a little bit nervous. Obviously, the staff at the bedside that had to put on the N95s and all the protective gear to actually go in and take care of the patient, they are the heroes by far. But everyone worked so hard in order to help stop the pandemic and, you know, improve outcomes for patients. But one of the things I found with my team is whenever I say, you know, we need to switch gears today, we need to look at something different, we need help here, they've all been so willing to roll up their sleeves and volunteer to move forward and do whatever it is they need to do to help in this unbelievable situation. And how motivating it is when somebody recognizes you, just because it just validates that the effort you put in every day when you come to work is being felt and it's recognized, and that just makes you feel great. It's kind of the icing on the cake.
I'm Laura Fuertes, and I'm a nurse, and I work in applied clinical informatics. That there are people who know they can reach out to us and we will be there and help in the moment or get a plan in place to help their problem moving forward. We have a group that comes from different backgrounds, and when we come together, I think our brain power is great. Whether, you know, data, you know, some of us work really well with data and that sort of stuff, they have that background, versus someone who might have some clinical experience where I feel like, you know, I can share that. We're diverse, and I think when we come together, we can conquer a lot. We are able to help and support staff and support nursing to be able to do what they need to do, document what they need to do, make sure their workflows are up to date and, you know, on par, streamline some of that work so they can give the best care. The greatest of days is when we get a call or email from someone out on the floor, out in it, and say, oh my God, you know, we have this problem, we've been bumping into this roadblock, either today or for weeks, and we can, because we're here, can get up and go to the floor and help, or like I said, and fix it immediately, or get a plan in place so that they don't hit that roadblock anymore, so that nurses can do what they do best, which is being at the bedside.
Hi, my name is Linda Parker. I am a senior business analyst in the clinical informatics department. I love the team. I've worked with a lot of different staff over the years. We come from diverse backgrounds, and I think together we are just we just make us stronger. We are relentless. We don't give up until we have an answer. From the day I started working here, my goal was to come in every day and to learn something new and to teach something. And that's just what I've made that my motto. Anybody that asks me all the time, that's my answer. I want to teach something, I want to learn something new. And all of that to help provide a great patient experience for our patients. We still go out to the floors and do whatever the staff needs, so we support them. We helped to set up some of the areas, special areas that were needed for this, for this period of time during the pandemic. It was challenging, and I hope that, especially with some of the technical pieces that were needed in those areas, I hope that because we were able to secure that and make sure that that was set up for them, that it made the nursing staff role easier when they got into those locations. So it brings tears to my eyes that somebody really feels that way about us.
Hi, I'm Christa Henson. I work for Applied Clinical Informatics at the Med Center. I've been here 5 years. I think it's working with everybody. Instead of just coming in and working, you get to work with pharmacy, you get to work with the providers, you get to do things on your own too. And then it comes, you can show people your work, and that it helps out the nurses in the long run and just helps out the hospital to have better care in the long run. Just over the, again with COVID in the past year, that it's all coming together and that we can really just be flexible and, go where we need to go and help where we need to help. Thank you to the IS Pharmacy team. We really appreciate this. This is very unexpected. And we do work, as Deb said, we work very well with them and we get along very well, and it's nice to be recognized.
So my name is Meagan Leary. I'm the coordinator for the Pharmacy Informatics group. And I've been here for about 12 years now. And I'll never forget the first time I was introduced to Deb Turner. There was a Pyxis issue in the PD clinic and patients weren't showing up. And she came in like a whirlwind. And I said, who is this person? But she was adamant that we had to fix this issue. We have to make it right. We have to do the right thing for these patients and get these meds, and they need to show up, and the nurses need to have what they need to take care of them. So, okay, I'll do whatever you want. For the rest of time, I will do whatever you want. I think they're just a very caring, hardworking, easygoing group of individuals. You can feel the compassion and the dedication that they had to their patients. The organization and all the patients here and all the caregivers are lucky to have you. Because like I said, a lot of it is behind the scenes. So sometimes you don't even know what they're doing and how they're fixing things, but it's really important work and it might impact you, whether you know it's happening or not. I think we've all had to just tackle challenges we didn't even know could exist. I think it's also made people come together in a different way that, it showed the strength in the community that I think we have.
Liz Isaac, Medication Safety Officer. It's really just the fact that they never dismiss a single concern. It could be the smallest, might not even be a problem, to, nope, this is a major issue and we really need to investigate it, but there is not a single stone unturned when they are involved. They want to make sure that we're doing the right thing. There's not a single project that I have done with them that I feel hasn't been done in the right way or with the right motives in mind. And I just think that in general is probably what sets them apart, is they always have the right motivation and really want to make sure that not only is the patient at the forefront of what we're doing, but also that our nurses can always do the right thing as well.
Hi, my name is Mai-Chi Tran. I've been at UMass for almost 19 years now. I've been in the role of quality safety and informatics for the past 9 years. They think about the patient, they think about the caregiver, they think about how they would want to be treated if they were in that situation, and always leveraging the technology and our tools in the best way possible. They dig and they dig and they dig until they understand what the root cause is. And until they really understand the real problem, they're not trying to come up with solutions. They actually want to understand what is really happening so that they're not putting a Band-Aid on the situation and then walking away and saying, yay, we fixed the problem, victory, good for us. They really do look at it as something that needs to be a long-term fix, a permanent fix, so that it doesn't happen again. Thank you for being wonderful people. Thank you for always caring and always thinking about others before you think of yourself, and know that we can always rely on each other. That it can be a pandemic, it can be a tsunami, it can be a hurricane, and we're gonna get through it.
So, our wound team over the last couple of years has grown by 3 times the size it was previously. And really the work they have done to improve the outcomes for our patients in relation to their pressure injuries, in relation to their ostomy care, has been nothing short of remarkable. They have taken a scientific approach, looking at the best evidence and the best practices that are out there. They've gone side by side at the bedside, so they're elbow to elbow with the frontline caregivers, both nurses and physicians, nutritionists, respiratory therapists, looking at how can we better take care of our patients and how can we best protect their skin.
My name is Chris Navis. I'm the Director of Clinical Practice and Patient Safety. So I oversee the Nurse Education Safety Specialist Group and the Wound Ostomy Nurse Group. I've worked at UMass for just over 6 years. I nominated the wound nurses because, in all actuality, they're a relatively newer team to the organization, so not necessarily the wound nurses, but this team is about 1.5 years old. There are 7 of them that make up the team, and they are very patient-centered and patient-focused. Everything that they want to incorporate or anything that they want to change from our formulary or to best practices is all patient-focused. So one of the initiatives that the team implemented over the past year was the sacral Mepilex, the preventative sacral Mepilex in the ICUs. It is considered a best practice, and we have seen a significant improvements in our pressure injury numbers in that area, which comprised of probably around 55% of all of our pressure injuries in the ICU. So we've seen a significant drop in that. On top of that, our wound formulary, we are actually introducing new products that are more appropriate for our patient population.
My name is Katie Benton, and I'm one of the wound ostomy continence nurses. I've only been at UMass Memorial for about 1.5 years. I'm actually fairly new to our team. I really like it. Our team has undergone a lot of changes. We've had a lot of growth. I felt like I was welcomed in with such open arms, and it's been a really good experience. Really fantastic, because we've really done a lot of good work in the past year and a half. We've done a lot. We've grown and changed a ton. We all work really, really well together, and I'm excited to find out why we were nominated today. I really love our team. We all really do enjoy each other's company. We have a really strong team. We all bring different strengths to it, and we've all come from different backgrounds. And Linda's been here for a long time, 20-something years, and has been incredibly welcoming to all of us. She has kind of brought us all into the fold so graciously, and we all have brought our own strengths with us, and together we've collaborated to make this amazing, powerful team where we can really make some impacts for patients and for their families. We recently implemented the WTA program, which stands for Wound Treatment Associate. With that, we've been training our bedside nurses and our educators to be more equipped to treat wounds. As a group, we've kind of put out this program, and we've been teaching everybody how to give better wound care, which has been really fantastic because for the bedside nurses, it increases their professional growth. And for the patients, then they get experts at the bedside when we're not always available for each patient, which has been fantastic. We're at the bedside, so we're providing that bedside care to patients, but additionally, we're able to provide that additional excellent care by doing staff education and working with our doctors, working with the treatment teams to be able to make a better experience for the patient as a whole, not just at the bedside, but by changing systems as well.
Linda Olson from the Wound Ostomy Nursing Team. I've been here technically 33. I left for a very short time. I started here as a new grad, back when you were a new grad. And I've been doing wound ostomy nursing for about 23. I love that there's some administrative nuances as well as direct patient care. I know that administration is focused on decreasing patients' pressure injuries to decrease patient harm, and I know we have worked tremendously hard as a team over the last 1.5 years. I think they're great. I really do. I enjoy it. I bounce off ideas, and we step up for each other, and we're able to implement things. We're all so unique in what we bring forward and what our strengths are. It was a very dark time, and we adjusted. We had to think outside the box. We are doing research on our own time, looking outside the box as far as patients in the prone position, what has worked, what are the facilities, what are our governing bodies, what are they saying? So taking a look at all of that and bringing it forward and implementing much of it, I think that's, and still to this day, we're able to do that. I think it's affected tremendous change in response and product. We're just all humbled, and I can't believe we're nominated. This is phenomenal, phenomenal.
You know, the CCU team over at Memorial under Erin Guyette's leadership, you know, has just really been the backbone and the workhorse during the COVID-19 pandemic. They deserve so much credit and so much acknowledgement just for all of their efforts. You know, they were our first COVID-19 critical care unit. They helped develop a number of the protocols and policies that we then roll out to the entire organization. They were really our beta site for care of critically ill COVID-19 patients, and they've stayed that way. They've been the one unit that hasn't had a break. They're the one unit that hasn't stopped. And they've done it with poise and grace under a ton of pressure. They've done it with tremendous focus and determination. And they've done it because that's what's the right thing to do for patients. And I think anytime you have that, you know, getting them this type of recognition is so well warranted.
My name is Erin Guyette. I'm the nurse manager for the Memorial CCU, SICU, and Critical Care Float Pool. I love the CCU. I love my job. It's trying at times. It's very difficult and all-encompassing. The teamwork, the camaraderie, the genuine care, the team, the nurses, the PCAs, everybody, unit secretaries, respiratory, display for not only the patients but for each other is phenomenal. It's mind-blowing. They truly care. People have gotten sick. We've had nurses also test positive. We've had nurses with family members with cancer. We've had life changes that weren't just COVID, and watching them take care of each other has been truly awe-inspiring. They're an amazing team, and they care for each other. They put patient care first. They take care of the patients. They make it work no matter what the situation. They're always willing to do what is best for the patient, even if that means taking a hit for themselves personally. And there has been a lot of that over the past year and a half, especially. Taking the third admission in a shift if that's what's needed. Keep being you. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are absolutely amazing, and keep taking care of yourself and each other, because that is where you truly shine.
Hi, my name is Carol Trudeau, and I've been with UMass for 16 years. I'm a registered nurse in the MICU over at the CCU Memorial. It's my home. This has been my entire nursing career, but I wouldn't want to go anywhere else. I think I'm being nominated as a team member of the CCU because of how we've banded together as coworkers to work together during this COVID pandemic. It's amazing seeing the abilities of people that they didn't think that they had and how it has amplified our teamwork during this time. I've worked at many locations, and this is by far the most cohesive, caring team that I've worked for. There is no management and staff. It is one whole team. We're like a family. We care about each other in hospital and out of hospital, which is very nice. Being able to utilize everybody's experience and their strengths through this process has been amazing. And knowing someone is just a phone call away, I wouldn't want to work with any other team during this. We're to the point where we can just look at one another and they know to go get someone. It's less dialogue than I've had to use in my entire nursing career. That's special, that you connect on a higher level with your coworkers to be able to do that you just know someone's there and you know they know what you need at the same time when you don't have the words for it. We've turned into a spectacular group that can get all of the things done when we had many more hands with fewer hands, but it all gets done. We've adapted our day-to-day so that we can still do everything no matter what gets thrown at us. I can't express enough how welcomed and supported I feel there.
I'm Cindy Eckberg. I work over at the Memorial Campus in the medical ICU. I am a registered nurse there. 30 plus years. It's home. When I first started as a new grad, the people that oriented me were like big sisters. I had such a welcoming experience. I've just stayed. I wouldn't want to go anywhere else because we give exceptional care, not just to COVID patients, the pandemics, but to anybody who comes through our doors. Is not the first time that we have been nominated. There have been other times and other patients. Over the course of the years of my working at UMass, the people that I work with The nurses, the physicians, the respiratory therapists are all extremely caring for our patients. They come first. As co-workers, we support each other through the difficult times of caring for patients, but our patients come first, and we will do what we need to do to make their outcomes as best as possible. Teamwork means to me that you're never alone. They're right there. They're watching the monitors. They know. So before you can even put on the call light to ask for help, you've got 3 or 4 people at your door. What do you need? How can I help you? Maybe it's watching the rest of the unit, picking up the slack, answering the phone, answering the call light, being a runner for whatever. They're there. And if the roles were reversed, if I was the one on the outside of the room, I would be doing that for them. We have each other's back, day shift, night shift, whatever it takes. We provide that quality care to the patient.
Give a special congratulations to the teams you saw today and for all the teams that were nominated. The team that was selected this year is a group of nurses whose focus is to improve the care of patients through collaboration and teamwork. They take a patient-centered approach to all ideas and care. Over the course of this past year, this team has evolved and expanded. They have introduced best practices and have had positive outcomes for our patients. This team goes above and beyond and works very closely together. They challenge each other respectfully daily. When there is a poor patient outcome, this team conducts mini RCAs amongst themselves for consensus and to determine if different treatment modalities should have been explored. These conversations have facilitated open and honest communication amongst themselves, which has allowed them to grow immensely as a team and ultimately provide better care for their patients. This team participates in weekly ICU rounds alongside other caregivers to find opportunities for improvement in the care of our patients and for real-time coaching. The team has also formed physician partnerships at both campuses to improve the continuity of care for our patients. Over the course of the past year, the team has introduced best practices that have resulted in a 40% decrease in pressure injuries. Over the last 4 months, we have seen a 50% decrease in all hospital-acquired pressure injuries. At the beginning of this year, I never thought we would see and achieve what we have achieved this year. And this team has been instrumental in that. This group has also recently reviewed the hospital formulary and introduced new evidence-based products. This team has initiated a proactive approach instead of a reactive approach, which has allowed for earlier intervention and positive patient outcomes. So in case you haven't figured it out, the recipient of the 2021 Daisy Team Award are the wound nurses. Jen Baker, Katie Benton, Christy Dennis, Jess Frank, Linda Olson, Jess Pierkowski, Jeff Doucette, and led by Chris Navis. Please join me in congratulating the wound nurses.
now we're going to welcome Kim Barry up to go through the Daisy Leader Awards. Kim?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kim Barry, Associate Chief Nursing Officer and Vice President for Patient Care Services. Congratulations to the wound care team and all the teams nominated for the Daisy Award. Teams need strong leaders to help them make them successful. This year, there are many nominations for great leaders and deserving nursing leaders throughout the organization. The nominations for our nurse leaders describe them, the leaders themselves, as kind, supportive, selfless, and lead by example. We want to share the nominations for the 2 nursing leaders this morning. Here's the vignette.
Erin has been steadfast in her commitment to her staff and to her patients, and she is the consummate nurse leader. She is there at the bedside. She would never ask her staff to do something she wouldn't do herself. She is definitely someone who we see a bright future in, and the pandemic, we've seen a number of leaders really step up and step in and show what they can do under times of stress and duress, and no one has done it better than Erin has. Erin is always professional, polite, disciplined, and she's incredibly well respected across the entire multidisciplinary team.
My name is Erin Guyette. I'm the nurse manager for Memorial CCU, SICU, and the critical care float pool. So Michelle is my boss. So that's, wow. You know, she's not only my boss, she's my mentor. She has been my go-to personally and, you know, job-wise since I started this journey. So that's, I'm honored. I'm honored that she thinks that highly of me. Extraordinary nursing care is defined as giving of yourself completely for another person, whether it be a patient or a staff. Not just taking care of the physical, but also taking care of the mental and spiritual, and giving yourself 100% to that patient. There's no job that's beneath me. It doesn't matter what is needed, I'm happy to do it. I feel that that helps make people know that they're appreciated, know that there isn't anything that I would ask them to do that I wouldn't do myself. So I am always out on the floor helping, turning patients, emergency situations, just remaining flexible and trying to stay humble, continuing to take care of myself and making sure that I'm taking care of myself, because if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of anybody else, and I have to sometimes learn to put myself first, and that can be very difficult. It's a 24/7 kind of job, so making sure that I am taking care of myself, and not only does that help me, but my staff see that as well, and it allows them to have permission to take care of themselves. It's very difficult when you're trying to do 20 things at one time. I've learned to take my ADD to a new level and do 20 things at one time, but I have to know when it's okay to stop and stop doing everything else and focus my attention to the person in my office at that moment. I'm humbled, I'm honored, I am blessed and truly grateful. And after watching how leadership has responded to this pandemic over the past year and a half, there is no question in my mind that I will continue my career here at UMass for the rest of my career. I'm very proud to say I work here at UMass Memorial.
So I've known Erin for many years. She was a staff nurse in Two Lakeside ICU. I was always impressed with the way she cared for her patients. You know, not only is she technically excellent as a nurse, she is very kind and compassionate, definitely shines through in her work. Erin is highly committed to safe, quality care for patients. She bends over backwards to make sure the patients and their families receive the best experience at UMass through the most difficult times. The CCU at Memorial was the first ICU to go up as a COVID unit, has been the longest standing COVID unit, you know, acute care or med-surg. They have been at it constantly since March of 2020. And during that time, Erin has been under tremendous pressure. She opened a surge unit over at the Memorial campus as well. Not only does she have her 2 ICUs, the float pool, She had a surge unit in the PACU area at Memorial. She's always maintained her composure. During this time, during wave 1 and wave 2, when we had our surge areas, you could find Erin working a night shift, taking a patient assignment, just to ensure that patients get the best care possible. Erin is a team player. She's definitely first in my mind when I have something that needs to be done. I think of Erin because she can always deliver. Erin, you are one of the most amazing individuals I've ever met. You are truly the epitome of a nurse. When I think of a nurse, I think of a kind, compassionate human being who would do anything for their patient and their family to make sure that they either heal or they could die with dignity. Erin, when I think of a Daisy leader, I think of you, and I just want to thank you for all your hard work, especially over the last 18 months. We would not have been successful in caring for any patients, but especially our COVID patients, without you and the hard work and the leadership qualities that you embody. Your team got through this very difficult time because of you and how you led them through it.
Katie has done an absolutely phenomenal job, and I smile when I think of Katie. Just does it in such a quiet way and in a methodical way, but she really is one of those people that just gets things done. Katie in this past year has hired well over 100 nurses. We asked Katie last September, actually, probably a year from this taping, to open a new unit and expand the float pool over at Memorial, and Katie did it in a very short order and in a very methodical way with daily updates. Recently we were over on her unit celebrating the grand opening of it 8 months later, and had some time to talk to her about it, and to see her interact with her staff, to see the respect they have for her as a person, and to see how they as a team had come together. That didn't happen by accident, or that happened through leadership. It happened through her actually taking a group of individuals who had no common interests, had no common relationship, bringing them together and building a trusting environment where patients are really receiving the best care possible. Katie's way of, when we speak of servant leadership, Katie's way of connecting with her staff and really showing them kind of the best way to take care of patients, right? And how to best approach situations, whether in conflict or constructive ways, is just a respectful way, right? Kind of always upholding the standards of respect.
My name is Katie Rinnus. I'm the nurse manager of the acute care float pool and West 2 at Memorial. I have been with UMass for 16 years on various roles, kind of started as a newbie as a PCA, and I've grown throughout the organization to where I am now. I truly care about my staff. I try to show that and being there for whatever they need and being supportive. I think it's providing that support to them. One of the things that we started, and I say we, Adita, the nurse educator, and myself for the floor and for float pool and really anybody that comes into the office, is we have a staff care cart in our office. It has, some self-care items, because self-care is really of high importance, and I try to feel like sometimes I get very preachy about it to people. I think we owe it to ourselves to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of patients. It's easy for nurses, I feel like, to put ourselves on the back burner. Like, we always need to do, what do we need to do for this person? What do we need to do for this person? And like, what about what you need to do for you? So the staff care cart has items that they can take home. I am very proud of my team, and my team is, all of float pool and West 2. Watching people grow. In terms of how I've adapted, I've really developed the mindset of just taking one day at a time, taking care of what needs to be done to get through the day, realizing that not everything can be a priority and some things can wait till the next day, and trying to impart that also to my staff. So almost just being that support for them. And I've seen the staff, they've done that for each other. They're actually support each other through that, because we talk about the importance of, being kind to one another, but it's like I tell them the only way we're going to get through this is just by being there for each other. And I've seen that team, whether it's float pool, also helping on the floors with other staff, or on West 2, really coming close together. I've seen that in the last year and a half. I'm just very honored and I'm thankful for it.
My name is Adira Sultan. I'm the Nurse Education Safety Specialist for West 2 and Float Pool at the Memorial Campus. I've been at UMass for 7 years next week. I've been at Memorial with those 2 units for a little over a year. She is a great leader. She's a great nurse. She leads by example. She treats people the way they want to be treated. I personally often tell her that she's too kind, if not very kind. She is the most selfless person that I honestly have ever met. She always thinks about others first. Katie definitely walks the talk. She's calm. She sets the floor for the staff, how she expects it, how she would like them to interact with each other, and she exemplifies that. And she's always supportive at work and at home. Always caring, respectful, always listens. She's really, really good at listening. Everybody comes in to talk to her and she listens because she's always there for us. She says she supports us no matter what. We never feel alone on the floor. Another nurse said the same thing. She said, and she is always available, helpful. She just does everything for all the people. I really don't know how to describe it. She brings our nursing practice to a next level. Like, we all should care for patients and each other the way she does for us. Whether it's a staff care card and you know, a little thank you cards, or you know, a whole table with, there's little things on the care card for the staff, whether it's candy, chocolate, or you know, a hand lotion. When there is an issue and anybody brings things up to her, she follows up and she follows through. And I've actually was told by a staff member saying, I feel supported because when I bring and concern to her, she always follows through. So I think that right there, it's part of excellence. Thank you. Thank you for being a great partner in crime. We have been working together for a little over a year, but we have a great working relationship. We support each other. I think she, even if she tried, she could not be more supportive of me and my work and what I need to do for the staff, and she could really not be more supportive to the people that work for her.
Great, what wonderful vignettes for both of our nominated DAISY nurse leaders. The recipient of this year's DAISY Nurse Leader was described in a nomination as a supportive leader that leads by example and handled the COVID crisis with grace. She handled every challenge of this pandemic with a smile, ensuring our patients receive the best care possible. Not only does she work incredibly hard to make sure that the best care is provided to the patients, but she also keeps in mind that her staff need that same care and attention. The nomination stated, I don't think any of us were ready for what happened last spring, but the bedside caregivers have really been affected by all of the sadness and all of the death that they have been part of over the past 14 months. This leader worked tirelessly to make sure that her staff are taking care of themselves. There were many nights during waves 1 and 2 that this leader came in to work the night shift to support her patients when she's already worked a full day. During this time, she agreed to start a new bedside treatment called the continuous renal replacement therapy that many of our COVID patients needed. This was new for the staff, new for her, and many were nervous to take this on. But due to her leadership and support, they took this on and they did very well, and many patients benefited. When I think of the qualities of a DAISY nurse leader, this leader does come to mind. She acts with kindness, patience, and her interactions with others are always very respectful. On a personal note, this leader is such a great mentor to many throughout the organization. No matter if they're in nursing or a different division. She's a true example of authentic leadership. She's very humble in her approach and how she interacts with others. In fact, she actually earned her master's degree during this pandemic, though not many people know because of her humble nature. That's not something she shares openly, but she earned it, and she dedicated her time, just like she dedicated her time to her patients and her staff. So it's with extreme honor that we congratulate the DAISY Nurse Leader recipient, Erin Guyette.
So that wraps up for today. I want to say a special congratulations again to all of our DAISY team and leader nominees and all of the folks that participated in our videos. A very special thank you to and congratulations to Clinical Informatics, the CCU, and to Katie, Erin, and the wound nurses. We do have some special treats for the other teams here that we've celebrated today because we know that nursing is a team sport and we want to make sure that we're supporting and celebrating all of us. Thank you for all of the presenters today and all of the leadership. We couldn't have made today possible without all of your support. And nominate a nurse. If you know a nurse who displays caring and compassion and exemplifies what it means to be a DAISY nurse, please go on and nominate them so that we can continue these great celebrations. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you again next year.